Hello, patrons, and thank you so much for supporting this channel. Your participation in my Patreon efforts is really appreciated, and thank you so much for your ongoing continued support. As you know, I recently posted a poll about whether or not I should do a Decans Walk and whether I should lead a Decans Walk. 9 of you said yes. That is not exactly a majority, but it is a significant minority of you. As a result, I've decided that I am in fact going to do this, although with a bit of fear and trepidation. I've now done some version of the Decans Walk 3 times, or I'm in the middle of my third, and the chance to lead others is an exciting one for me. At the same time, I approach this with a certain amount of fear and trembling because there's always the risk that somebody is going to think, well, he's doing it wrong, or that he's doing it right, but he's not doing it the way that I think it should be done. Well, the sun enters Aries at about 5:40 a.m. Eastern Time in the United States. If you are in New York City or even Halifax and west of Halifax, all the way to Hawaii, chances are that the first dawn on Saturday, March 20th, will be the first dawn of spring. And that means that you should do this on Saturday morning at some time that is a close approximation of dawn or whenever you first get up in the morning. Ideally in the morning, but some people are on the night shift, so maybe it's whenever you get up. Some of you are east of New York City. You might be in Halifax, you might be in some parts of eastern Brazil, and so on. And if you are, then chances are that you are going to have to wait until Sunday morning for the first dawn of spring in the Northern Hemisphere. Australia too. So if you are west of New York City all the way out to Hawaii and the international date line, your work begins on Saturday. Everybody else, your work begins on Sunday with the first dawn of spring. What will you need? You will need a tarot deck. Failing that, you should have a printout of the Two of Wands from the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. That will sort of serve as the altar icon for this activity, and that means that you'll need a way to prop it up on your desk, your altar, or in your shrine. Great. Eventually, you might want to have a deck because we're going to be using 36 at least of those cards over the course of this next year, this next 12-month cycle. But for now, you can probably make do with a single printout. You will want to have some kind of a lamp. Now, a friend of mine uses little electronic mini tea lights. They look like tea lights, but they're electronic. There's a battery in them. They're battery operated. They're great for people who are in nursing homes or dormitory rooms that just don't have access to the ability to light candles. If you are in a place where you can burn incense, you'll want to have some incense and something to burn it in. Essentially, that is the only requirement for setup is a tarot card, a way to burn incense, and a light. You can get more elaborate. If you want to try to scry and have some kind of a relationship with the decanic spirit, you can have a crystal to stare into. You can also have a bowl of water and use that as your staring medium. But it doesn't really matter. Card, incense, and some kind of a lamp is probably sufficient for this work. For this first decan of Aries, you will also want a knife or a pair of scissors or some sort of a tool with which you can cut. Sharpness is much more important than what the tool looks like. You will also want to cut something. You will want to have something that you can cut. In my case, I intend for it to be a piece of fruit. It will probably be a tomato, but the goal is to be able to divide something or cut something in half. Now, what will we be doing? In each decan, there's going to be this short 10 to 15-minute ritual. I intend to provide you with a written copy of the poem that I composed for each decan for those of you who haven't bought it. If you decided to go to my Etsy shop and buy and download a copy of the poems, that'd be great, but you will also have access to the poem, which will be posted on the Patreon website for you to download and use at your discretion. So that part will be easy. The second piece will be a formal prayer to ask the forces of the decan to leave you alone and separate you from the bad parts of fortune that particular decan brings. And we will go into some detail about how that manifests in each of the decans. This will be posted for you on Friday night so that you'll have access to it first thing on Saturday morning. The third thing that you will be doing is meditating. So first is the ritual component. The second thing is that you'll be cutting something during the ritual. The third thing is a brief period of meditation. This can be 3 minutes, it can be 5 minutes, it can be 10 minutes. It doesn't really matter how long you choose to meditate for, but a short block of meditation, a short period of sitting in silence and imagining what comes next. And then the last piece of each decan is going to be a little bit of workshop practice with writing, with drawing, with making sound of various kinds, with experimenting with movement of various kinds. These will change based on which decan we are doing, and that practice time, if you will, is designed to connect you with the energy of the decan. So those will be the 4 modalities. Will be writing, drawing, movement of air. Maybe you call it singing, maybe you call it shouting, maybe it's speaking aloud extemporaneously or from a planned text, and then finally, movement of some kind. The goal of these is to help you figure out what the decan is there to teach you. The decan is both a spirit and it's a time period and it is a sector of the sky. It's all 3 of those things. And you know and I know that you don't always connect with that intellectually. You sometimes connect with it emotionally, sometimes you connect with it energetically, sometimes you connect with it socially, and sometimes you connect to it through synchronicity. In any case, we're going to be looking at each decan through 4 kinds of activities: some writing, some drawing, some speaking or singing, and some physical movement. And each way we're supposed to feel our way into what the decan is supposed to feel like. So those will be the modalities that we'll be working with. And the idea is that each decan is going to have a short 15 to 20 minute ritual component that you do. And then over the next 10 days, you get to experiment with that particular energy or that particular flow and see what it has to teach you. So that'll be the basic structure of our Decans Walk. And I hope that that gives you a sense of whether or not you want to do this or not, or whether you simply want to hang out on the edges and feel your way into it through what the rest of us are doing. I hope this helps, and I'll see you with a second video and some additional materials tomorrow evening. That's it. Bye.